help. Would help if I unmuted myself. I'll try that again. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I say that because it's currently 8 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia, and mighty cold. Although I've heard it's pretty warm in the UK at the moment, which is where I'll be on Wednesday, and very much looking forward to it. I'll just do a quick sound check. If you could just let me know in the chat box if you're hearing and seeing me okay. I'll just give it a few minutes to allow anyone else who's late into the stream. But yeah, if someone could just put in the chat box if you can hear me okay. I should probably at this point out my rather red eyes, if you can see that. No, I've not been on the sauce, nor am I nursing a monster hangover, but I did take my son for a swim in the pool this afternoon, and I think they had the chlorine set to the max, and it's rather stingy and itchy. All right, thanks everyone in the chat for confirming sound all okay. That's great. I've also got this light above my computer, which is not helping my eyes, but I'm told I need that to make myself look handsome, so we'll just soldier on. Alrighty, I think we're about ready to begin. I will point out that this is the first time that I've done anything like this before, so please do be gentle with me, but we'll crack on and do the best that we can. There will be the main purpose of today is going to be to do a bit of a live Q&A on the Football Trading University. But before that, I got a few slides that I just wanted to run through, just to give a bit more value to your time while we're here. Feel free to put questions into the chat box. I'll probably try to ignore those until we reach the Q&A session, but by all means, pop them in as they become relevant. And yeah, let's crack on. So as I mentioned, the purpose of today really is to delve a little bit into the Football Trading University, give you an opportunity to ask any questions of me live. But I wanted to give you a little insight into the way I approach football trading, my mindset sort of approach, and give you something to think about as part of that process. So one of those things is what I call the hot zones, and we'll come on to that in a moment. But first, what we'll cover today. So we'll have a brief introduction with myself about Predictology and the Football Trading University. I'm going to delve a little bit into why I feel most football trading courses perhaps failed you up until now, or if not failed you, have left you wanting more. Why I feel the Football Trading University is different. Understanding your trader profile. How many strategies you need to be profitable, and then we'll get into some of the thought concepts around trading hot zones and something I call the 80-20-20 rule. I'll then open it up for questions, and we'll finish things off with a very special offer for the Football Trading University for those who are interested in enrolling, and that will be exclusive just for those who've registered for this live stream. So who am I? I'm John, if you haven't figured that out already. I'm the founder of Predictology and creator of the Football Trading University. Personally, I've been profitable better for the last 18 years, of which the last 7 of those have been as a full-time football trader. I founded Predictology back in 2014. In my view, it's the complete football betting and trading suite. We have over 350,000 matches in the database. We're fully automated and integrated with BF Bot Manager, and we provide numerous betting models and trading tools to allow you to profit from the markets, and you can even develop your own through our proprietary system builder. Predictology has been reviewed and won numerous awards over the years. We were second place in 21 and 22 at the Honest Betting Reviews. We've been reviewed and overwhelmingly approved by websites such as Cashmaster, Smart Betting Club, Gold Profits, Honest Betting Reviews, Lay Back and Get Rich, who've given us the Best Football Tipster Award for the last 2 years. And most recently, we came third place as the Best Betting Data Resource in the Smart Betting Club Awards, which is what I'm particularly proud of, as the winner in that award was Timeform. So obviously that's a huge organization, and Little Old Us came up just behind them. And in fact, there wasn't another football-related data source anywhere in the top 3 or even top 5, I believe. So we're certainly pioneering and leading the way in what we do. As I mentioned, I'm also the largely the creator of the Football Trading University. In our view, it's a complete course that really teaches you how to trade football profitably. And I think that word is the key word, and we'll understand more about that as we go through. But a lot of courses will teach you how to trade football, but not necessarily with enough emphasis on really how to profit and in a significant way. It's perfect for new and experienced traders alike, as we'll see by some of the testimonials later. And it'll help you create a unique mindset and approach to football trading. And most importantly, develop a learnable and repeatable methodology and process that will allow you to consistently return to and profit from the markets. So why do I feel most football trading courses fail you? Well, firstly, I'd say it's relatively easy to learn and therefore teach the basics of football trading. We all know goals change prices. That's why we see simple strategies like lay the draw or back over 1.5 goals. And I think this is what empowers or makes people believe that they are able to then teach others on how to trade football trading. And they still sort of focus on those simplistic concepts, and they'll teach you sort of, some of the basics, and you might see some success, but to really elevate yourself to a higher level, I think a lot of that is left out of courses that I've certainly seen myself. I've seen a lot of these courses, and it's the same sort of information being passed down and regurgitated through. It's the same successful strategies, but not necessarily profitable strategies. And what I mean by this, they will teach you, let's say, a split stake strategy for backing over 1.5 goals. Okay, great. Reality is we all know that most matches will have 2 or more goals in. So you have that feeling of winning consistently, or a certain regularity for you to think that the course is doing you good. But it's much further down the track when you realize that really you're only treading water and not really progressing in the way that you thought you would be. I often feel that these courses don't tell you really how to pick games, and that sort of leads into the generic and simplified statistics. It's a lot of, we're looking for over 2.5 goal strategy, right? So we need to look at the last 6 games, make sure there's no nil-nils, maybe a couple of other rules, and there's your strategy. Now, this is all very easy to access information. It doesn't really tell us enough to be able to really identify where those key opportunities are while trading football matches. And often as well, I feel that you're being told to trade out for the wrong reasons and at the wrong time. As soon as the goal scored, hedge your bets, move on to the next one. And it leaves you really collecting pennies, or as I would call them, pennies, small returns on a consistent basis, but it only takes 1 or 2 of those trades to wipe out a lot of the work that you've done. Now, for me personally, if I'm going to be trading, I want to be looking at how I can return significant ROI on any particular trade that I'm putting into. And often than not, hedging your trade is actually the worst value way to do so. And we'll look at that later. So the FTU, or the Football Trading University, is different. I think it's important to firstly know you can 100% learn to trade football profitably. It's not some mythical recipe that's always going to be out of reach. It can be very methodical, can be very process driven, and the markets don't change in a huge amount of a great deal. It is a repeatable skill that you can develop. So once you have the rules and the framework behind it, and once you've practiced it enough to have confidence and be able to repeat that skill, you can then go back to the markets, look for the similar opportunities, and earn consistently out of those markets. Look, no, there's no fluff in the course. I'm not someone who likes fluff either. And really what it's focused on is teaching you my own personal unique take on the markets and how I trade football matches. It'll help you develop the correct trader mindset, and we'll look at that a little bit in a moment. It provides clear and repeatable steps and processes. It goes in depth into 7 modules and 41 lessons full of video guides as well as content. We also include, as part of the course, 13 in-depth strategies that you are step-by-step outlined, so that they are something that you can follow those strategies, you can practice those strategies and be able to repeat them in the same way that we do. We also go as far as providing set and forget versions of those strategies. So in many of these trading strategies, you could obviously earn greater returns in play, but if you're short on time or there's games kicking off outside of your availability or while you're asleep, there are variations of these strategies which you can use by simply setting them up before the game starts and still earn a solid ROI from those. In particular, one of those strategies will show you how you can 5x and 10x your profits on single trades. And we'll give some sort of guidance around that a little bit later. Now, I debated whether to include this slide in for today because it's not something we're going to have the time to go really in depth with during a presentation like this. But it was actually one of the areas that we've had feedback on the most from the students who've gone through the course. In fact, we've had over 150 people who've taken the FTU so far. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. We've not had one query, complaint, or negative comment. But time and time again, people have referenced the module on trader mindset as one of the most important ones that they've developed. One of the most important ones that they've gone through, and it's really sort of changed the way that they're trying to approach their football trading. And it helps you understand what your true motivation is to become a football trader, the pros and cons of being a professional football trader, because it's certainly not all roses. Helps you, be true to yourself and will allow you to improve your success. So by understanding what kind of trader you are, and what I mean is success for you may not actually be becoming a pro football trader, but it may be something that you do on a Saturday, or it may be something you do part-time or as time allows. And once you understand those expectations and then create a framework around those, around your personal profile, you'll suddenly find that you're achieving objectives that you didn't realize you could, because you're actually setting the goalposts in the right place. Another question we get asked a lot, and I see a lot, is how many strategies do you need? Or, what are your best 5 strategies? What are your best 10 strategies? And the reality is, for most of us here today, you only really need one strategy that works for you and is profitable. Because very few people will be, starting out with a 6-figure bank account for the trading. Most people are going to be starting out with £500, £1,000, maybe £2,000. And that is more than enough for one successful strategy that you can use, you can repeat and draw from the markets. And if you're using compounding stakes and you're focusing on that strategy and becoming a true expert on that strategy, you can probably achieve a majority of your goals just through that one strategy. And as your bank grows, as your confidence grows, as your experience grows, that's when you may look to add 1, 2, 3, 4 more strategies to your portfolio. And that's why we do provide a variety of strategies within the Football Trading University. But it's not necessarily that you would adopt all 13 of those from the first day. What it does provide you with is a range of choices that will fit your profile, your availability, your risk, your financial commitment, and all of those aspects, which I say really ties into the previous slide about understanding what kind of trader you are and what kind of trader you want to be. So this is moving into sort of an area I really wanted to sort of give us a little bit of value and perhaps a different consideration or context to consider with your football trading. And I'm not seeing this sort of talked about in any other course or YouTube videos or anything like that, but there are 2 hot zones in every football match, and these occur in the last 15 minutes of each game, naturally. And in these periods, this is where you're into that sort of sweet spot where the odds are moving at an exponential rate, yet the probability of a goal is actually increasing. Or for other words, for every minute that the price you can get is actually getting better, yet the probability of a goal is not dropping at the same rate as those prices. So what this means is if you're focusing on the right games, you're actually getting a significant value or significant ROI potential in any particular trade. Now, I just wanted to sort of highlight something on the next slide. Now, I don't know how well that's coming up on the screen, but if you look at this is the goal times for Premier League, Serie A, and La Liga. And this is what time the percentage of goals are scored. Now, if you notice, for Premier League, 76 to 90 minutes, that's 20, I told you my eyesight was going to be bad today, 20%, and 30 to 45 is 17.6%. Now, those are the 2 highest areas, proportions of when goals are scored in the game. And this is repeated from almost every league across the planet. Same with Serie A, it's 22.6%, which is the highest number of goals window is the 76 to 90 minutes. 22.3 in La Liga. Liga 1 is another same, 21.4. Bundesliga is 24.1, and even in Portugal, it's actually 24.9%. So almost a quarter of all goals scored come in the last 15 minutes of the game. So if I was starting out today, brand new to football trading, the natural area that I would start to focus and examine and test strategy ideas would be on the last 15 to 20 minutes of games. And I would keep doing that. I would keep testing theories, keep looking at stats until I found something that worked for me. Because why try and profit at different points within a game, whether trying to back a first half goal or trying to trade over 2.5, when you already know that goals, the highest proportion of goals will come in the last 15 minutes of a game. So if you can understand which types of games are most likely to have those goals, and we also know that the odds are going to be at their lowest during this time, you only need to find one strategy within that to absolutely transform the success rate that you have with your football trading. Now, this is something I've developed into what I call the 80-20-20 rule, which is an adaptation of obviously the common phrase of 80-20. And this is true from my own stats because I record all of my trades. 80% of my profits will come from 20% of those trades, which is to be expected. It's a natural rule of thumb. Now, those 20% of trades all come in the last 20 minutes of matches, hence the 80-20-20 rule. Here's one example, which was a great one. There's actually 2 late goals in the Kansas City, my eyesight's so bad now, Kansas Los Angeles game. Another one here with, again, involving Kansas City scoring a late goal. Now, these were all trades where I got involved in the match in the last 15, last 10, sometimes as late as the last couple of minutes of a game. And I'm able to 5x, 10x, 20x my risk in terms of return just by looking for one goal at the point where the goal is most likely to be scored in any one of those games. And it's not something you can do blindly across every match, but there are things that you can look at which might give you an idea of which games are better to be focused on. Now, something I'm looking at is always monitoring the intensity of a game from the 70th minute mark. Is possession particularly high on one team? Are there lots of attacks or shots on target? Is it possible that either side could score? Now, you may have the favorite winning by 1 goal margin. Now, the team that's losing is pushing, but in that scenario, the favorite, if they're a strong favorite, is more than capable to score on the break. Yet, if the losing side scores, then your multiple on your ROI is even higher. Now, is there check team motivation? Obviously, this will be less successful on early games in the season or late games in the season. And it's important to note you don't need to get in right on the 70 minutes mark. That's just the point when you start monitoring these. And I've been getting into trades before 88, 89th minute, particularly those games where I'm expecting to have a large amount of injury time. But I guess the point I'm trying to relay for this, if you've been struggling with your trading or you're not getting the profits that you want to, or you feel like you want to take a fresh approach to it, start focusing on those last 15, 20 minutes of games. This is where you have the potential for the highest ROI. And once you've refined your approach, you can start increasing your success rate. And this is there's several strategies within the Football Training University which are tailored exactly to these types of games. And there's a number of ways that you can play them. It could be laying the draw in this period. It could be going for 1 or 2 more goals in those last 15 minutes. It could be opposing the team that's winning if it's by a certain margin. And there's any number of ways to play these strategies, but these are the ways that you can get a significant ROI when focusing on the right types of games. And we do go into these strategies within the course. These are, as I said, we've had over 150 students go through the course. A number of them have been kind enough to leave video reviews, which we'll share at a later date. Marvel, who I know from the Discord community, has been trading himself for the last 5 years, and yet he said the course has increased his trading profits. Chris has said he's not seen a football trading course like this before, and it's 10 out of 10. More impressively, Terence says this is the first time he's been profitable. And Michael calls the course fantastic, 10 out of 10, and just go for it. And these are all real people who, just like you, who've gone through the course in the recent months. So before I open it up to the Q&A, by attending the course or registering for the course today, we're going to extend a very special offer to all of you. And in fact, there's up to a little over £1,300 worth of savings available. So firstly, by using the code Beckham23, you can get 60% off the course, which is saving £598. You'll also get 1 year's free access to the live pro trading community. Now, this is a private community in our Discord channel. And we've got a great bunch of people in there already. We're regularly hosting live trading sessions, and many of the community are doing this together as well. And pretty much there'll be a live trade or bet recommended within there pretty much every day of the week. And for those who are not a member of Predictology already, we'll also save 50% on their first year's access to Predictology, which is a saving of £180. So a little over 1,342.19 in total savings by taking action on the course available to you today. So hopefully there'll be some questions. I hopefully haven't whittled through that too quickly. Obviously, I have said this is the first time I'm doing an event like this, but I'm hoping to do a lot more in the future and be a lot more polished as time goes by. But yeah, I'll open it up and see if there's anyone has any questions they'd like to ask about me, about football trading in general, or the Football Trading University specifically. Just feel free to type those away in the text box, and I'm happy to answer them. All right, don't all speak at once. Thank you, Matthew. Good question. So let me just confirm what that is. So it's 60% off 997. So I can't remember exactly, but I'll just pull that up for you now, right? That would be... So after discount, which is 60% off, it comes out at 398.80. Now, I think it's also important to remember that not only do you get full access to the course, it is lifetime access, which means you also get access to all future content updates as well. And I think it's really important to point that out. So there's numerous other areas within trading and sports trading that I want to add to the course in future. As markets evolve, strategies will get updated, new opportunities in the market will become apparent, and we'll develop new strategies around those. And all of this will get added to the course and expanded over time. So by being a part of the course now, you will have all the content they have today, but anything else will include in future. And I think, again, that's really important to note, that I know there are others who will release a course and then 6 months later will release another course and another course, whereas I see some FDU as something that I want to grow and build and expand over time as the markets develop and as new things become available. So it won't be a case of, tap you on the shoulder in 6 months' time with a new correct score trading course or something like that. If we expand our correct score trading lessons, then it will be included within the course. All right. Anyone else with any questions? And look, it can be anything about trading, can be anything about the course or myself or Predictology. You have me here, my undivided attention, so I'm happy to take any and all questions within reason. All right, before I let everyone go, I did promise some insights into a couple of potential trades for today. So while I give everyone time to put any other questions they may have into the chat box, I just wanted to highlight a couple of games, a coming up later today. First one in Lithuania and the second one in Norway. Now, these tables are built specifically from Predictology platform. Hi, Matthew. Yeah. So Matthew says, I've done a lot of trading courses before, just concerned that this may be a repeat. Totally understand where you're coming from with that. And to be honest, I've been asked by members who I've dealt with for a long time to do a course like this, and I've always resisted it. But my motivation for coming out and doing the course was to do something completely different. So I can guarantee you now, hand on heart, what's it contained within the Football Trading University is not contained in any football course, certainly any football course that I've come across before. And, you know, I actually get quite frustrated when I see some of the poor information that's put out there and the very generalized information that goes out. So I've tried to do something very differently. And this is very sort of open and from the heart for me. This is how I trade, and this is how I do the markets, and this is what I look for. And it's certainly not going to be something you've seen or come across before. I've got another question in now from GLF5. How do you compare yourself to, say, Gold Profits? I think that's a really good question. I think Gold Profits is they're a fantastic group of people, fantastic product. I actually think that that's actually quite a good example. They provide a lot of useful tools. Their database is excellent. But I think this is a classic example of they teach you to a point, but you're kind of on your own when it comes to the markets and developing strategies around it. I know they have a lot of sort of, last time I looked, a lot of sort of general trading strategies, but it's very hard to get an understanding of how those strategies perform from a P&L perspective. Are they profitable? What are the things I should be looking for beyond that? And we've always been with Predictology very ROI and P&L focused. And one of the things with the system builder is that you can actually go and test a particular strategy and get a P&L from it. So I would say that look, they're two very complementary products, and they approach the markets from two different angles. But I certainly would have nothing negative to say about Gold Profits. I think they do a fantastic thing, and I use their live stats module. I think it's brilliant. But we have a different ethos, I guess, when it comes to how we present and teach. That's what I would say. All right. While we're waiting to see if there's any other questions. So this is something now we show you within the course how you can develop your own way of assessing a market. Like if you've got a system that you've been following, there's different things you can do to sort of create what should be the target or implied odds and help you to identify value in the market. With this is using one of the tools within Predictology. And what it does is we have, excuse me, before I continue on that, Paul Henry has sent one through. How do you compare yourself to FTS Income and who are very data orientated? I have to be honest, Paul, I'm not massively familiar with FTS Income, so I couldn't comment in terms of a like-for-like comparison. From what I've seen, if I'm recalling correctly, they do a lot from a pre-match or pre-race trading, if I believe, where I'm very much focused on football solely and within play. But I may have got that wrong, but I wouldn't want to comment any further in case I've misunderstood what they do, because I haven't had too much dealings with them, to be honest. So in case there's any other questions coming through, so basically what this allows you to do, these two sheets. So what I've done is I've done an assessment of two games that are coming up, and what I'm looking for is which markets potentially offer value. Now, in the first instance, we're looking at Banga, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that, but in this particular scenario where we're seeing there's basically goals are of value in this game, and I would be actually probably trying to target a couple of first half goals, but depending on the strategy you're going to adopt, and obviously now is not the time and place to talk about different ways of strategizing. But this shows you how you can sort of identify value in the market. Now, on the second game, Bodo Glimt v Mold. Now, I would be keeping a little eye on the match odds. At the moment, both are odds on, which is what I want. When they start to go over even money and higher, some of these value things can adjust a little bit. But there it does appear to be value for me in Bodo Glimt winning the game, coming through on a particular scoreline. Any home win 2-0, 2-1 looks like the most likely scoreline. And doing a Dutch of those scorelines would offer value of around about 28%. Or you could be or equally based on our historical models and similar game profiles, Asian handicap 1.5 or Bodo to win by 2 goals is offering very large value at about 52%. Another question in from GL5 and GLF. What most courses don't teach you is where to find the trades and the theory behind it. Exactly right. And that's what we've tried to address with Football Trading University. So we've done the course so that, and I think it's important to make this distinction, Football Trading University can operate as a standalone course. So everything is taught in there in terms of how to find games, what the theory is behind the trade, why we're doing this trade, what we're looking for, what time we're going to enter, how we would find those games. You don't need to use the Predictology website to benefit from the course. However, the Predictology site can complement the course by making those assessments a lot easier to do. And as is perfectly demonstrated on the screen here, now you would potentially have your own models, which you would then apply, or data sources, which you would then take what we're teaching in the Football Trading University, go and do your own assessment of matches and find your own trades to do. Now, equally, you could use something like the Predictology website, which every day publishes a list of value trades operating that day. So you would take the trade strategies from FDU, go to Predictology, or wait for Predictology to email you or alert you through Telegram, and then you've got the 2 pieces of data with the little to no work from you. So to answer your question, we believe that the course does teach you where to find trades and the theory behind them, and you don't need Predictology to do that or to benefit from that. However, our view is obviously the two complement each other in a significant manner. So I'll just pop the offer back up on screen for the time being. And I'll just give it a couple more minutes if there's any other questions from anyone within the group. And while I wait for that, there are a couple of games going on right now in Korea and Japan, so I'm just going to see if there's anything interesting in the stats. All right, well, just while I'm waiting for to see if give everyone last few minutes to see if there's any questions and more that want to be asked, I would draw people's attention to the South Korea game at the moment between Gwonju and Ulsan. It's Ulsan away, but first place against Gwonju was 6th place, and the current score is 0-1 with 78 minutes to go. Now, this is not necessarily a game I'll get involved with just yet, but it is starting to show some of the potential of what looking at those last 15 to 20 minute games. So if you have a look at it now, there's been 6 shots on target in the second half. There's been 2 shots on target in the last 5 minutes, 1 for each team. So this would be a game where if I was seeing that momentum continuing, I may be going in and targeting either a lay of Ulsan or potentially backing 1 or 2 more goals in the last 10 minutes of the game, because we are starting to see a little bit more intensity in that game. And we know there's motivation from at least one of those sides to go through. So I just highlight that while we were waiting. All right, so hasn't been any more questions coming through. Oh, here we go. From Chandana Tenakun, apologies if I haven't pronounced that right, has asked, will there be further reductions in the course later, or is this a one-off? This is absolutely a one-off. The course won't be at this price again. The 60% discount plus these bonuses are only available for anyone who's registered for this particular live stream. It won't be published anywhere else, and it will not be offered at this price again. I wanted to just do something a little extra for everyone giving up their time to come along today. Thanks. All right, so there's actually been another shot on target for all sounds. So 77, 79, and 74 as we reach the 81st minutes. There's been three. There's a little bit of intensity there. Obviously, I can't guarantee if a live trade would go our way in this, but it is a game I would be keeping an eye on at the moment. All right, so I will give it another 30 seconds to see if there's any more questions come through. Otherwise, I really appreciate you making your time available for what would most of you would be a Sunday morning. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's been interesting. This is something I want to do a lot more of, just in general for Predictology, not necessarily in relation to FTU. It is a bit of a strange thing to do, or it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I've enjoyed it, and I really appreciate the questions. I really appreciate the time everyone's spent coming in. And yeah, if there's not anything else, I will wrap things up. All right, everyone. Thank you again. I think that's all the questions we've got time for today. Like, if any questions do arise outside of this, contact me in the usual way, whether it be or through Twitter, through Discord, or through our support channels. And look, hope to see some of you on Football Training University in the near future. Thanks, everyone.